Hey everyone, what is up? It is me, Ewan from What Culture Comics, today with an update from DC FanDome. We've already done a bunch of videos for What Culture Gaming and the What Culture main channels, so if you haven't already, please do go check them out. Now, before I begin, I guess I should start by acknowledging the giant shark in the room, and that is of course the fact that going into DC FanDome, there was a bit of a cloud hanging over the event. You know, we reported about a week before the event was due to start that DC had been hit by a number of layoffs thanks to Time Warner and AT&T. And yeah, it was, I'm not gonna lie, it definitely did take the shine off the event for me. You know, comics are the lifeblood of this industry. And, you know, even getting aside from the fact that we're gonna look at IP and think that IP is like the thing that drives, you know, Warner Brothers or whatever big multimedia company to pursue these things in the first place, you know, comics should be allowed to exist. Should be allowed to exist as comics. You know, their art, it's a wonderful medium, and it makes me sad to see them kind of, you know, be devalued this way by these businesses, because the less resources you devote to the comics themselves, it will come back to bite them in the long run. I really do feel that way. You know, if we are going to talk about, you know, these comics being, you know, used as a means to, you know, as resources to mine for other like stories and like TV, film, gaming, whatever. If you look at the MCU, most of their stories came from the last 20 or so years in terms of comics published by Marvel. So again, I do think DC is shooting themselves in the foot, but. Anyway, that aside, even though I went into DC FanDome kind of like the definition of the Futurama snoo gif, where they're there kind of grimacing and smiling constantly, it is such a beautiful gif. It has so many uses. I love DC FanDome. I thought it was a great way, as someone for me, you know, who hasn't actually ever had a chance to go to a big American Comic Con, it was great. I really enjoyed the con experience from home. And some of the major announcements were just so great. You know, again, please go check out the videos on What Culture Gaming and What Culture Main if you haven't already, because we talk about the Gotham Knights game, the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game, the Suicide Squad movie, the Batman movie, and so on. But yeah, I thought I'd basically do another update for the comics channel, because there are some cool things that I think you guys in particular will probably appreciate. And for me, if I'm going to talk about one of my biggest surprises from the event, it would be the Black Adam panel. I really didn't care about this project to begin with. I just think it's kind of a weird, if you're going to make a film about a character, why make it Black Adam? And I went into it kind of that way, and I left it thinking, oh my god, I've been totally won over. And that is because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is a very charming man. But at the same time, yeah, it just looked really cool. So let's get into some of the details about it. During the event, we actually got to see some art from both Jim Lee and Boss Logic depicting Dwayne Johnson in the Black Adam suit, and he definitely looks the part. You know, he definitely looks like Black Adam, which is really, really cool. And yeah, I'm really particularly excited about that part. In the panel itself, they also revealed, or confirmed rather, because we did report on this a few months ago as well, if you'll remember, that the Justice Society of America will have a key part to play in the story, and they actually revealed the members of the Society who are going to feature in the film, and those are Dr. Fate, Hawkman, and Cyclone. Now, my Justice Society of America knowledge isn't as clued up as it probably should be. I love Dr. Fate, I love Hawkman. I'm more familiar with the Jeff Johns Justice Society. That was a thing, you know, during the early noughties, where you had the likes of Stargirl, Wildcat, Alan Scott, Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, those sorts of characters. But again, Dr. Fate, fantastic character. Hawkman, again, great character. I've never heard of Cyclone, which probably loses me some geek cred, but that's fine. Noah Centineo is actually going to be playing Atom Smasher as well, which again is really cool. I recognize that character from Justice League Unlimited, especially, coincidentally rather, given all the Suicide Squad discussions. I recognize him from the Task Force X episode, where I think he goes up against Giganta. I can't remember now. But yeah, he's confirmed to be playing Atom Smasher, and they had a nice little chat with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in that video. And my main takeaway from it all is that he's clearly very passionate about this project, and even if it is God knows how many years away from becoming a reality, it's nice to see it get some official traction. We hear these projects get announced all the time, and sometimes they just fizzle out into nothing. I'm very concerned about the Steven Spielberg Black Hawk movie because I love that comic and that property, and I think he's a great fit for it, and it would be a shame if he's not moving ahead with it. Anyway, moving on, I wanted to talk about another big surprise for me, and that was the surprise DC Comics panel that happened, I believe, 9:45 our time, which revealed that Milestone Media is actually making a comeback at DC Comics. I feel as though I've been, banging the drum for Static Shock's return for so long because it's truly mind-blowing to me that a character of Static's appeal and range and popularity as well, he's barely had a comic. Like we have the original Dwayne McDuffie run for Milestone. Then he came back with I think it was Rebirth of the Cool in the early noughties after the success of the show. DC tried doing Static again in the New 52, but then cancelled this series, and we've basically had nothing since, which is a massive shame. And that goes double for all the other Milestone characters as well, like Hardware, who Dennis Cohen seems to be a big fan of, and then Icon as well. So many great characters over at Milestone, and it's great to see them all back. The panel itself was headed up by Dennis Cohen, Reginald Hudlin, Phil Lamar, and Jim Lee, and yeah, it's just great to see that classic black-fronted imprint coming back to DC because it's something that they've desperately needed for so long now, and I'm really excited to see what they do with that. We got a few images of the upcoming relaunch, which was great to see. I'm very much looking forward to it, especially as a big fan in particular of Dennis Cohen's work, given what he did on The Question with Dennis O'Neil. But yeah, the other big takeaway from that panel for me, and I imagine for everyone else as well, is that Reginald Hudlin confirmed that they'd actually been having concrete discussions regarding a live-action Static Shock film. Now, that is absolutely amazing to me. I think Static needs a film, man. I think we could talk about it endlessly about how, a few years ago we would have been like, oh yeah, Static, he should get a DC animated original movie. They could totally adapt Rebirth of the Cool or whatever. But it's so great to see that, the voices at Warner Brothers hopefully have woken up and gone, yes, Static Shock. That is a great character. He had his own TV show in the early noughties. He has massive appeal. Why haven't we made a film about him yet? So it's just great that that is actually getting traction now. And I really hope we get some more news to come. But anyway, the actual quote from Hudlin, he said, "We are in serious conversations as we're launching a new comic book series in developing a Static Shock movie. That'll be a theatrical film. What we're talking about is unbelievable." So again, yeah. They also mentioned in the panel about how they're going to basically incorporate Milestone characters across animated features. Again, that's really good given how strong Warner Brothers Animation is in that department. Podcasts and comics. I assume the podcast thing is sort of like how we've seen Marvel do their Wolverine story, and then obviously, we had the Sandman audiobook from DC that released last month as well. So again, it's great to see that these characters will actually be getting the push across multiple media, and especially in comics as well, because that's what they started out with, and it's frankly ridiculous that they haven't been around, for the past decade, or at least haven't been, relegated to minor roles, when really they should be at the forefront of the universe. Which I think brings us to quite nicely another thing that I mentioned in the main channel earlier on regarding Batman and John Ridley. And John Ridley, who of course wrote 12 Years a Slave and is currently in the midst of writing the other history of the DC universe, it's confirmed that he's going to be writing a Batman comic with art from Nick Derrington, who I absolutely adore. You'll probably recognize his work from Doom Patrol, and also, hopefully, if you've read it, because you should do, Batman Universe. And it's confirmed that they're going to be working on a series next year. And Ridley, while talking at this DC panel, mentioned that the series has a, quote, better than 47% chance of featuring a Batman of color, which again is really exciting. We reported on this like a few, I think last year, I believe, the rumors about DC's, I forget what strategy it was. Was it Generation something? I've completely forgotten. But the whole plan originally, which was thrown out the door when Dan Didio was removed from the company, regarding the idea of introducing a black Batman, which again, really cool. Apparently this version will coexist alongside Bruce's Batman, but the other details, we kind of haven't got much to go on. There's an image of the actual first cover here. But yeah, it says here that Ridley's limited Batman series will focus on the family of Lucius Fox. So that again is really cool. I think the speculation so far has been that Luke Fox will be the new Batman. And Luke did, of course, actually take up the mantle of Batwing for a period of time. So again, makes sense. I'm totally cool to see this happen. Batman as a character for me in the comics, I've kind of been tuning on and off for years now, ever since I was burned by DC unceremoniously kind of stymieing Grant Morrison's plans on Batman. So again, this is the perfect thing for me to get back into the character, and I'd love to see a brand new interpretation of it. And again, a great day for Batman, all in all, and you should go check out What Culture Main for our views on or my views, I don't speak for the entirety of What Culture, just me, my views on the Batman trailer, because I really enjoyed it and I'm very much excited. But yeah, we'll learn more about John Ridley's Batman comic at DC FanDome 2 Electric Boogaloo on September 12th. But yeah, I want to know what you all think of this news down in the comments below. Are you excited for Black Adam, to see the Justice Society of America? Who would you cast in those different roles? I kind of think Oded Fehr would make a fantastic Dr. Fate. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more What Culture-y goodness every single day. Remember, you can find more content like this at whatculture.com/comics, and you can find more of me on Twitter at EwanRuinsThings. That's all for now, though. Have a great day, keep reading comics, and I'll see you next time. Bye!